special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. Next week, I think on the 28th of June, is, believe it or not, National Logistics Day. And we're going to spend some time with Jennifer McQuiston. She is a transportation and logistics expert and senior manager of product marketing at Truckstop-dot-com. We all know that trucking keeps America moving. How you get products from Maine to San Diego is way beyond my comprehension. Jennifer, but people do that every day using trucks, right?
They do indeed. That's exactly right. And that's a pretty good example. How do you make them from point A to point B? Or Southern Florida, how do you get out of Southern Florida with a load? That's exactly right. It is tricky, and you get the issue right away.
People throughout the country, even here in crazy Los Angeles, with all of our freeways that are being filled up again post-pandemic, how can we as regular drivers be more cognizant of truckers for safety?
Well, I think a big part of it is just being respectful to them. Try not to cut them off. Give them the space that they need. Truck drivers are working very hard to keep the roads safe. That is their goal. They're just like you and me. They want to get home safely too. And so you want to be respectful around them. They have a really big truck that they're trying to move carefully. And by cutting them off, they're working to react as quickly as they can. But if you don't cut them off, imagine how much easier their job is.
Well, and they are bigger than we are.
Indeed.
I mean, they will win in any kind of altercation, and we don't want that. The fact is that we have National Logistics Day coming up. Is this to commemorate truckers in particular?
It's truckers and also the logistics providers that are working behind them. Logistics is a really broad topic. It is basically moving goods. So it might be the marine carriers that are taking things into our ports. It might be the drivers that are taking from the port to the train. And it can be the driver that's delivering to your house. But behind them, there's also an army of professionals that are out there trying to help those drivers get where they want to go. They're trying to make their jobs easier. And so with National Logistics Day, we're just trying to recognize all of them, all of the people that are moving those goods and making our days better. Because of that, our stuff gets where it needs to be because there's people that are moving them. And so we recognize them today.
I was looking at your website, and there are a lot of jobs open, not necessarily for truckers, but for people who have agile experience, which is computer stuff, guys. And all kinds of behind the scenes. We're also honoring these people as well, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I think we probably are. There's as a software provider, Truckstop.com, we're hiring the best software providers out there, and so it's something that we're always looking to do. People that are looking and truly interested in making truck drivers' lives easier, for example, those are the people we're looking for, and they're definitely supporting the industry. I personally have been in the industry for about 18 years, and whether it's hardware or software or data, the industry is just completely filled with it. There's as you see, you mentioned moving from, I think you said, Maine to Southern California. There's somebody that's tracking that truck as it makes the load. Or there's software, like our software, for example, is a marketplace, and it's out there helping the brokers and the drivers connect with each other through a virtual platform. So like that example I mentioned, you've got a driver in Southern Florida, and she wants to get out of Southern Florida. She can come to our load board and find that route to get herself back up to Minneapolis, for example. And
wow.
So, yeah, a lot of software behind it, tons of it.
And so the truckers can find jobs, find loads, as you said, to move the material that we need moved.
Yep, that's exactly right. And that's a lot of what they're looking at is that each load is an individual, let's call it a gig, if you will. They have to go from the next gig to the next one. Like you can either have individual drivers. These might be owner-operators. That's the lady or the guy that owns that truck and is moving it back and forth. Or you might have a fleet of 30,000. Those bigger fleets, they're going to be doing a lot of different ways to get to the loads. But the end result is they want to move a truckload full of stuff from point A to point B. And that it's just that simple. And so we, Truckstop, do everything we can to make that easier for them.
And in the radio TV business, gigs are what drives us as well. That's
exactly.
not a job. It's a gig. It's a gig. With Truckstop.com, my first thought was, we're going to talk about the truck stops and places to eat along the way. But that's not what Truckstop.com is all about.
That's exactly right, and that's actually kind of a fun thing when you're trying to hire a software person to come work at a Truckstop.com. The notion is that we're really focused on trucks and how to help them, and so they go to Truckstop for respite. They might be using their software, our software, in a truck stop. They might be using it in their truck when they're parked on the side of the road. But that's the goal, is that we're the point where they can come, catch a break, and make their lives that much easier.
With the summer, and especially this summer, do you expect the highways and byways from coast to coast to be busier than even last year particularly?
Well, I can't predict. Definitely, I can't predict the industry as a whole. I would personally expect it. I don't know about you, but I'm tracking my friends online, and they're all going everywhere. Just as of, things have opened up and they're gone. I'm, like I said, going on a road trip myself coming up, and I think that is an industry statistic that is definitely happening. People are back on the roads, and so those truck drivers, they're going to still keep working. They worked the whole way through this pandemic, of course, but now suddenly the population is back on the roads with them as well. So yeah, my personal opinion, and from what we're seeing in the news, yeah, it's going to be busy again, and that is just the nature of things. We all want to get moving again.
How did you get into this moving industry?
How I got into the transportation, how I got into it was just by luck. I like we all do, I want to get that next job, right? I'm in marketing. I had chosen to go work in transportation 18 years ago, and the funny thing was, when I did, I didn't think transportation would be my home, if you will, but since I've gotten here, the people and the reality of what they're doing is so critical. And so when I found Truckstop, it was really, or Truckstop.com, excuse me, it was really so critical to us to make our customers' lives easier. That is our mission, actually, and we are always working to make their lives easier, and it just was the right place for me. So while I never would have thought transportation was where I would end up, it's where I love, and I found my home for almost 2 decades now. So
wow,
it's a good place to be.
Yeah. Going back to my analogy of a food stop place, a truck stop, was that your first thought too? Huh? They want me to work at a truck stop?
No, actually, I was lucky. Like I said, I've been in the industry for a while. I was actually working at another software provider for the first part of my career, and I got to work very closely with Truckstop. What happens is the software providers, they integrate very closely to each other. And so I used to work at a major TMS provider, and TMS, those are the software that run their companies, and they had a really close integration to Truckstop.com. And so when I started thinking it might be time to move, I didn't want to leave the industry, and so I started going through my own personal network, and Truckstop.com was right at the top of it, and couldn't have made a better decision for my life and my career.
Well, we can go to Truckstop.com for more information and celebrate June 28th, National Logistics Day, and it's also National Insurance Day. And is there a brief connection that you can give us before we're out of time?
Yeah, for sure. The logistics providers are actually searching for insurance certificates before they hire a trucking company. They make sure they're insured. And so that's just a really big part of their day, too. It's a lot of work to keep those insurance records up.
Jennifer, thank you for joining us. We've been talking with Jennifer MCquiston about National Logistics Day. She's a travel expert and senior manager of product marketing at Truckstop.com. If you want more information, maybe you're looking for a gig, check it out. I'm Mark Alyn. This is Late Night Health.